Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the first in-studio live audience edition of Pod on Lansdowne. Let's make some noise! Wow, listen to that audience. Wow, what a crowd. It's great to be here. I'm Fitz. Thank you for joining us, and thank you to our live studio audience for coming on this journey. We're joined by exactly one live studio audience member. It's the lovely Alexandra. Missy Mopena is she's over the crib today, so she's just gonna stare at me this entire time while I ramble on about baseball and nods her head politely. Isn't that right? She nodded her head. I know it's a podcast, you can't see that, so I gotta describe her actions to you. But hope you're doing well. Hope everything's good. Hope you've had a great week. Happy Friday when you're listening to this, or happy whatever day you actually end up listening to this. You getting trade fever yet? You getting trade fever? Fever because of the hot stove? Hot stove give you a fever? I don't think that's how it works, but is what it is. The point of all that is to say that the trade deadline is upon us, and the Red Sox, at this rate, one of the few teams in Major League Baseball close to 60 wins, not including the San Francisco Giants, because they have already surpassed that marker. So technically, they're not approaching 60 wins. I'm just being an asshole. Point is, Red Sox are in the hunt. One of the best teams in the American League, one of the best teams in all baseball. So one would think that they're going to be buyers at the deadline. And one would also think, if you've been watching this team for as long as I would imagine you have, the listener, imagine you're a fan of the Boston Red Stockings Baseball Club, one of those positions of need that we've talked about on this very program is first base. So let's get right into it. The name that everyone seems to be throwing around, given the Red Sox own situation offensively and just in general, the first base need, as well as this team's other situation where they look to be sellers for whatever frickin' reason. The Chicago Cubs, their first baseman, Anthony Rizzo. People seem to think that that's a natural fit. Seen his name thrown around a ton on the timeline recently. It makes sense if they're in a vacuum, if they're going to be sellers, the Cubs, that the Red Sox might be interested in his services. I've seen Joey Gallo thrown around a couple times, but A, I don't think he's as valuable to you at first base as he is in the outfield because he's got a cannon of an arm. And two, we don't necessarily need the outfield help at this time. And also three, he's probably going to cost a prettier penny. I think he goes to San Diego. That's besides the point. Anthony Rizzo. While I like Rizzo a lot, love Anthony Rizzo, one of my favorite non-Red Sox players. I think he's been a joy to watch over the past couple seasons. And while I do think that his, not even struggles at the plate, but just his non-Anthony Rizzo-ness at the plate, he's kind of stepped back a little bit this year. I think that will also come around, though. If you look under the hood, Rizzo is still hitting the ball hard. He's still squaring it up enough. He's just, maybe he's getting unlucky. He's not striking out as much. He's never really struck out much at all. And he's kept those strikeout numbers low. Walk numbers are a little bit lower, but in general, still seeing the ball relatively well, it seems. So I think the count numbers and the surface level stats will pick up in time with Rizzo, even despite the injury stuff. But despite all that, the prevailing point that a friend of mine brought up, and many others have brought up, is that the price might be too much for the Boston Red Sox, which I would agree with. I think both things could be true. I think he could be a great fit for the Red Sox this season, and I also think that it might be too much. I feel like the Cubs, who are looking to kickstart a type of rebuild, maybe not a total rebuild, but almost kind of like similar to what the Red Sox have done, trade a star away. I'm not going to name no names, Mookie Betts, but, get some highly touted prospects back and then try to retool. Or maybe they just completely blow it up, who's to say. The point is, I think that their asking price is not going to be worth it, especially considering that I don't think the Red Sox would or should extend Anthony Rizzo. give him a contract extension when the time comes. He would be a rental here. He would not be a long-term solution with Tristan Casas waiting in the wings. Casas might end up having to be one of the pieces that you'd have to give up to get Rizzo in the first place, which I don't think that's worth it. If the price is right, if you can give up a couple mid-tier prospects, then yeah, pull the trigger. Get that kind of additional veteran leadership in the clubhouse, someone who has won a World Series before, who has an all-star pedigree. Get him in the lineup, absolutely, if the price is right. I just am afraid that the price will not be right at any point when dealing with the Chicago Cubs this trade deadline. Don't you think, Alex? Your thoughts on Anthony Rizzo? She nodded her head yes. She's a smart cookie. She's a very smart cookie. Some other players that people have thrown around, rather, that I would think, A, would also make a ton of sense for this team, and B, would not, take as much to acquire compared to Anthony Rizzo. Carlos Santana has been thrown around a couple times. I mean, I know I make the joke smooth about Danny Santana, but A, I don't know how long for this Red Sox world Danny Santana is. I don't know how often we're going to be seeing him throughout the entire season. I know we started Wednesday night, but the point remains. But I know I make the smooth joke with Danny Santana. Of course I'm going to make it with Carlos Santana, the baseball player, considering that Santana's actual name, the artist, is Carlos Santana, the guitarist. 'Cause you're so smooth, and it's just like the ocean. Do I sound good, Alex? She's nodded her head now. She's, like I said, she's smart. She's also truthful. Carlos Santana would be great. 35 years old. You can't imagine that the Kansas City Royals are going to be asking too much for a return of his services. But he's had himself a very solid season so far. If you're not privy to your KC Royals baseball in 2021, first of all, can't necessarily say I blame you. Second of all, 15 homers, 51 RBIs, 110 OPS plus, above average hitter at the dish. Getting on base at a 360 clip. Can't do much worse than that. That's better than, I hate to say it, and someone's name who rhymes with Robbie Small Snack. A little cookie here and there. Right, Alex? She didn't have any reaction there. She had a shut up fits look to her face. Again, can't say I blame her. Santana would be an excellent fit for this lineup, I think. And again, I don't think it would take that much to get him. That same friend of mine who mentioned Rizzo's high price earlier in the episode that I had mentioned a couple minutes ago, he brought up Jonathan Scope out of Detroit. Again, another AL Central team that is not playing for anything. They're looking to get the kiddies up. Spencer Torkelson will be up within the next 18 months. Scope doesn't... I don't see Scope being a long-term solution in Detroit. Try to get what you can out of him. How old is Jonathan Scope? Scope's 29. Does he fit for their long-term plans? I wouldn't say so. But he's had himself a very good year. Only signed a 1-year contract with Detroit. And he wouldn't have arbitration, I don't think, would he? No, yeah, he's an unrestricted free agent next year. Scope's had a very good year. Had a great past month or so. Great June. 17 homers for him. 59 RBIs. 122 OPS plus. Lou Merlone brought up Scope as well. I think he'd be an excellent fit. Maybe... I was going to say you infringe on New York Yankees property going with another right-handed bat. But Scope's a very solid player all around, and he can play multiple spots too. He's been playing a lot of first base recently, but has played in multiple spots over the diamond over the years. He's also been playing a ton of second base this year as well. Can play up the middle for you, can play some third base. Again, he's another righty bat, but you can live with that. You can maybe find another lefty bat, like an outfield bat, platoon bat, if you really feel that strongly about it. You also just called up a left-handed bat, too, in Jarren Duran, right? So, it's not the end of the world. Scope would be a good got to trade for as well. Again, not going to take as much as Anthony Rizzo to acquire him. And if all else fails, I don't necessarily think that C.J. Cron's a bad idea either in Colorado. Power hitting guy, he's going to kind of be 3 true outcomes a lot of the time, but he's 31. Again, what is Colorado playing for? They're playing for the future. They're planning for the future, rather. He's not going to be there long term. He's got about a 110 OPS plus last I checked. 115. That's fine. Slugging .472. A lot of pop. 14 homers so far this year. And you could say, oh, well, Coors. Well, OPS plus accounts for what parks they're playing in. So, take that into account. Could be a good consolation prize. Maybe not the main guy you target, but could be a very good, could be a better option than, honestly, what they've got right now. So, a couple of names outside of Anthony Rizzo that maybe you get in terms of first baseman. Pair that with some extra pitching help, and now I think you're cooking with gas, and I think you're ready to make a push for another World Series championship, perhaps, in Boston. Let's move on. Let's talk more about Jarren Duran. He's awesome, isn't he? That was a great homer the other day. That opposite field power. That's what I'm talking about, baby. That power-speed combo. I haven't seen him since Monday night when they beat the living bejesus out of Ross Stripling and the Toronto Blue Jays before taking another win on Wednesday night. 2 huge wins for the Red Sox after a disappointing weekend in the Bronx to set up for another couple of dates with the Yankees at Fenway Park this time around. Haven't seen Duran since Monday, but Duran was one of the major points of a new lineup unveiled by Alex Cora. And I kind of wanted to discuss that a little bit. Is it permanent? Was that just a flash in the pan kind of lineup from Monday and to an extent Wednesday? We'll go into the specifics. Or maybe this is what you see more often from Alex Cora. He likes to tinker the lineup a lot. Earlier in the year, you saw him kind of experiment who's going to be the leadoff guy. It was just all over the place as to who was going to be atop the order. Now it seems like he settled into Kike Hernandez for the time being, leading off the ball game, and he's done a fantastic job over the last couple weeks doing so. I know I've been critical of the leadoff hitters for the Red Sox in the past on this very program. Kike's been great, and Kike has been part of that. Those 2 huge games, a huge part of those 2 huge games in Buffalo against the Toronto Blue Jays. But the new lineups specifically: Kike leading off, Duran batting second, JD batting 5th. As you can hear, this dog across the street, this little French bulldog, our neighbor got a little cute French bulldogs, but one bulldog. But that French bulldog, my goodness gracious, barks at everything. I don't know if you can hear it out of the mic. Alex, live student of your audience, can hear it. And she's nodding her head, yes, that doggy barks at everything. And she made a funny face imitating a bark. And it made me chuckle. Broke my train of thought. Thank you, French bulldog. Still insanely cute, though. Point is, different lineup. We didn't see it Thursday night, or we haven't seen the game yet Thursday night. I'm recording this before the game, but we did not see it Thursday for this lineup. And Wednesday had a few changes to that lineup. Again, Verdugo batting 6th. I don't know if I mentioned that before, Frenchie Gate, a few moments ago. But these are some interesting changes. Let's start with Verdugo there batting 6th. I think that made a ton of sense. You needed something to get Alex Verdugo going. Because over the last couple weeks, you could just tell, he's kind of hitting into a ton of grounders. Maybe he's not seeing the ball as well in the second spot. Bump him back down to 6th, where, he could still get himself some RBI opportunities, some pivotal at-bats. But maybe see a couple more pitches before getting up there to the plate, and then, working the count from there and doing your own thing from there. Because he is a gifted hitter. He's got a good feel for the plate and whatnot, good feel for the zone, good swing. Sometimes players hit slumps. You got to change things up a little bit. It seemed to have worked. He drew that walk early on in that Monday onslaught of runs that led to the grand slam from Renfroe. But maybe that's what he needed. Maybe he just needed to be bumped down a little bit, start seeing the ball a bit better, and just go from there. not necessarily regain your confidence, but just, get more acclimated to the pitcher on the mound. JD batting fifth is very interesting. He had never batted fifth with the Red Sox up until Monday night. He was always either second, third, or fourth, I believe. And at first I was like, him batting fifth is interesting, but he's still going to get a ton of RBI opportunities if he continues to bat fifth. And with a very strong 1 through 6 lineup, again, Kike leading off, he's been great. If Duran is in, towards the, upper 2/3 of the lineup, he could definitely belong there. Again, the power speed combo with him is great. And then you have your big three. You have JD, Raf, and Xander. And then Verdugo. Someone's going to have to bat fifth there. It's a good problem to have, whether it's Xander, whether it's Raf, whether it's JD. To break up lefties if you have Raf fourth and Verdugo sixth. Go right, left between X, Devers, JD, and Verdugo. Someone's going to have to bat fifth. But that's a very, very good problem to have. That's champagne problems right there. It feels weird with JD batting fifth, but he's still going to get a ton of pivotal at-bats in that spot. He's still going to be able to make an impact if he continues to bat there. I like that idea. And Xander Bogaerts being your best overall hitter, all around, him or Devers arguably, and then, JD up there as well, but you want to get those guys as many at-bats as possible, so keeping Xander third makes a ton of sense to me. And Duran being sixth, even if he is in the sixth spot, or batting second rather, even if he is in the sixth spot going forward, but if you keep him at the 2 spot, maybe that's exactly the jolt of offense the I'm stuttering all over the place. Live studio audience nodding her head yes in disapproval. That's fine. Even if Jarren Duran, no matter where he is in the lineup, he just might be that jolt this offense is needed after that disappointing end to the weekend series in New York. Proved it right away with that home run of what he could do for this offense. Team needed a jolt. Team needed a shakeup because it was, just short of pathetic. It was definitely pathetic Sunday night. It was a bad game, just getting sliced by the Yankees. Was it Tyon that night? I believe? Yeah, I think that was Tyon. Jameson Tyon. Point is, it was a bad end to the weekend. You took that first game and then it just kind of went out like a stale fart in the Bronx. Alex Verdugo has been known to make changes, had to make a change, and it clearly worked against a very dangerous team in the Toronto Blue Jays. You were able to outslug them. So I like those changes. Maybe they're permanent, maybe they're not. Maybe they're, it's a trend of things to come. Maybe it's just what they needed to get back home to Fenway for a very important 4-game series against the Bronx Bombers. So those are my thoughts on that, my ramblings on those. Let's wrap this up with the hat tip of the week. Hat tip of the week. Alex kind of went like, it was like a woo, but like it sounded like as if it was like a little wind blowing through. You could do more noise than that. There you go. How about that? Folks, give it up for this audience. Give it up for yourselves. Give yourself a round of applause. Hat tip of the week goes to none other than Eddie Alvarez. Do you know who Eddie Alvarez is? Do you know who Eddie Alvarez is, Alex? You do. I was like, cool, if you do. But she does not know. She lied. Am I going to sneeze? You're smart. I'm not going to cut that. Usually I cut the sneeze, but I need to prove to the audience that, again, you're just on fire right now. You're like a hot knife through butter. You can't miss with your takes today. Eddie Alvarez. Do you know, listener, who Eddie Alvarez is? It's okay if you don't. Eddie Alvarez. This man was an Olympic speed skater. This is a baseball player we're talking about. This is a baseball player. But he was an Olympic speed skater. Cuban American. son of Cuban immigrants, I believe. Eddie Alvarez. I just want to make sure I got that right about this man. Early life. Son of Cuban immigrants. There you go. Grew up in Miami. Speed skater. Made the Olympic team in 2014 in Sochi, Russia. Remember how much of a mess the Sochi Olympics were? I feel like half the Olympics at this point are a mess, including these ones. Should we even be having the Olympics now? I don't know. Point remains. 2014 Olympian in speed skating. After the Olympics, he was like, I'm gonna do baseball. He played baseball in high school. He was like, I want to do the baseball thing. People are like, okay, fine, do what you need to do. Signed on with the White Sox for a minor league deal after the 2014 Winter Olympics. After a few years, after a while, again, from about 2015 or so up to 2020 in the middle of a pandemic, after a few years, he finally made his major league debut with the Miami Marlins. Made it last season for those bottom feeder Marlins that ended up making the playoffs. He's still in their organization. He is now on the United States Olympic team. Not only is he on the United States Olympic team for baseball, not only is he a double Olympian in winter and summer, the winter and summer games, multi-sport Olympian, like Jim Thorpe stuff you're talking about here. Didn't Lolo Jones try doing that as well? Didn't she try like bobsledding after being a track star? I think she tried that. Alex is nodding her head yes. Not only is he on the Olympic team, he is the Olympic flag bearer. One of the 2 Olympic flag bearers for the United States, alongside Sue Bird, who is a legend in women's basketball. What a story. What an unbelievable story. Just, again, goes to show, I love these kind of stories. Just, it sounds the whole corniness of follow your dreams and whatnot. But this is legit, like a guy set out, made it to the pinnacle of an extremely hard thing to do, speed skating. Made it to just about the top, as high as you could go, being an Olympian in the damn sport. Said, no, I'm going to change it up. I'm going to play a totally different sport. And made it to one of the pinnacles of that. He's a major leaguer, an Olympian in that sport. And he's going to have the honor Friday night of holding his country's flag at the Olympic ceremony next to another legend of the sport from his home country. Millions of people are going to be seeing him flying the flag. That's cool. That's a really cool story. So shout out to Eddie Alvarez. He gets my hat tip of the week, an Olympic-themed one, because the Olympics, again, they start Friday, and I'm very excited for those. Again, don't know if we should be doing the Olympics considering the COVID situation in Japan. Feels similar to the start of baseball season last year, right? Like, on one hand, yeah, I'm very excited to see baseball come back after the delay to the season, but on the other hand, I'm like, should we be doing this? I don't know. So, it's mixed feelings, but a part of me is excited to see the games. I'm a big Olympics guy. I like watching the Olympics. So, that's going to do it for this episode of Pod on Lansdowne. Let's get 4 games against the Yankees here. Let's get 4 wins. Let's get a 4-game sweep. Huh? What do you say, live studio audience? Thank you to Alex for being a great studio audience member. And thank you, listener, for being a great, not live studio audience member, but in your car, in your room, in your headphones, walking around, walking the dog, walking a cute French bulldog like the one across the street, whatever you end up doing. Thank you for listening. Follow me on Twitter at FitzyMopania. We can talk about Alex Cora lineup changes. We can talk about Olympic speed skating if you want. Olympic baseball, preferably now, because that's going to be more topical. But hey, you want to shoot the shit about some speed skating? Then let's shoot the shit about some speed skating. This song was stuck in my head today by the Black Keys, so it's going to take us out of this episode. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy your Olympics. Enjoy your baseball. We'll talk to you next week. Thanks again.